Hello, hello, folks. It is the 18th of September. It's the 18th of September, a day I'll always remember. And I'm singing that, I guess. Oh, that popped in my head. Well, it popped in my head probably because it reminds me of the song, which I'm sure you young folks have never heard of. I'm trying to remember what the song is myself. Anyways, let's see. All right, so let's get to painting here. So, where's my... Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's see. We want drawings behind. And okay, here we go. So, there we go. Okay, we've got, let's see, the skin is going to be this color here. Yeah. All right. All right. So, let's see. That. Let's see if we can paint bucket. Oh, nice. Yeah, there we go. That's going to save me some work. So let's get there. All right, good. Okay. Yay, easy. How many more? There's not too many more that have to be painted here. And then we can go and start adding the bubbles, which should be kind of fun. Let's see. There we go. Okay, here is going to be that color. Let's see. All right. Let's see over there. Since this is coming up to the edge of the frame, let's see, I think I'm going to fake that out there. Let's see, so then we can dump some color in here. There we go. That'll save us some work. Hey, yeah. Maybe make a bigger brush. Yeah, let's see, make a nice big brush. See how the paint behind saves your bum? Because, see, you're painting behind, so you can just swath the color in. It's a lot easier to then fill those gaps. Very nice. All right, and we'll bring this back down. Bring it down. And I think the lips are red, are they not? Yeah, they are. Okay. So, and also, too, I think we could probably add a, what's the word? I could probably add a highlight in the lips at some point. I think. Yeah, I think I could see how I could do that. Let's see here. Well, I might be able to just dump this in now. Yeah, look at there. That's great. All right. Well, that makes this frame real easy to paint. Nice. Very nice. Yeah. That's fun. So much fun. All right. So then the inside of the mouth, I guess maybe... Well, I could go with this color of the inside of the mouth, which is not that different. Maybe I should use a light color. Well, no, I think that's okay. All right, paint bucket, and that's going to go for the stuff on the outside. Yeah, there we go. Nice. All right. We'll hit save. It's always good to save. I don't think that, I don't believe that, or I'm not aware that Rough Animator has an auto save. I don't think it does, but then again, I'm not certain. I don't really know if it does or not. It might. But it's probably always just a good idea to just, save it yourself. Don't trust that Don't trust any program if it doesn't say it does autosave. If a program is going to do autosave, more than likely there's going to be some indication that it will. Like Toon Boom, I believe most of their software has some kind of an autosave. Like every 10 minutes or something, it'll automatically save everything. I know Storyboard Pro was like that. I assume it still is like that. So it's a Toon Boom. I will say this: the Toon Boom software, as expensive as it is excellent software. And a little plug for Toon Boom. I mean, it's excellent software. I'm not going to lie about that. I think it is really good software. However, it is expensive. And it's too bad because, because it's expensive. So, Toon Boom people, you might want to think about getting back to a place where you sell your software instead of just subscribing. The subscription price is still quite substantial. I think it's something like $60 or $70 a month. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. That's pretty high, folks. That's pretty high. I mean, even Photoshop. I think Photoshop. Well, I guess the cheapest version of Photoshop, I guess, is what is it? I don't know, $25 a month, or I don't know. It's just I think people use these softwares too much to have to pay these kinds of prices. But hey, what do I know? I'm a consumer, right? I'm one of those people that uses this stuff. I don't use Photoshop anymore for that reason. When I bought my computer, the first computer I ever owned was a Macintosh. I don't know if they call them Macintoshes anymore. Great computer. Lasted me the longest of any computer I've ever had. My first computer, basically, actually, I think my first computer probably would still work. Because the only thing that stopped me from using my computer after was I had drivers. I had a driver issue on my Mac, and it was not properly connecting with my. It wasn't properly connecting with my Wacom. I had one of those original old Wacoms, the 21-inch babies, pretty nice one, and I was having some kind of a problem with the Wacom. I don't remember what, but I think it was the drivers. I believe it was a driver issue. And so anyway, I had a job or something, and so a tech guy at a company that I was working at recommended a PC that I could get. And so because I had this job and I didn't really have time to fool around, I needed to get, up and running. I bought a PC, and actually it was the first PC I think I ever had. And I'm not a big fan of PCs, to be honest. Anyways, that's why I changed. But my Mac lasted me 12 years. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if I dug it out. It might actually still work. I don't know. I mean, I probably would have to get new drivers. In fact, I think I still even have my old Wacom, actually, I think. But the point is that, when a company makes a product and they make it well, you would think that would be the thing that every company would want to be known for, is that we made a great product and we're going to keep making great products. Now, I think, and Apple does. They do. I think I'm guessing. They do. I mean, I've got an iPad. I will say this: most of my Apple products, I haven't had really any problems with them. But I think that's also too why they're more expensive. It's why if you buy an iPhone instead of an Android, I've never had an iPhone, but I'm pretty certain that if I ever got an iPhone, it would be great. And at some point, when I decide not to be so cheap about it, I'll buy an iPhone. And then my next phone, I have a feeling, probably will be an iPhone. Um, so, all right. We are... Yeah, I should be able to dump... Oh, yeah, that's great. Great. Yeah. And those little crevices there. And here. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I'm not really sure I understand that. I mean, well, obviously the subscription fees are great because it's great for the companies because I'm sure it's a, obviously it's a money thing. Of course it would be. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah. Makes perfect sense, of course. All right, let's see. And she's heading away. So now we're not, yeah, okay, so now we got less stuff to paint. Let's see. All right. This hair bleed thing is, I'm not being overly careful about that. Kind of guessing. Some things, when they're moving like that, you're not going to pay a lot of attention to it. Primarily because it's probably going to be moving fast enough that you might not notice any inconsistencies. You might not notice. It didn't say you would not notice. It says, I'm just saying you might not notice. So, yeah, you have to make a decision about that. How important is that to you? Yeah. And see, I'm going only on the edges here for the hair so that I can just dump color. Because we'll set a bigger brush. Because some programs, some animation or sketching programs, I would guess that the way the software is written or coded, that there's going to be some limitations to how it detects edges or parts of. Well, let's see here. Bring this down. How does it detect small areas where color is going to go? How does it detect big areas where color is going to go? I mean, color tends to become patchy and inconsistent based on how the software is written. So, and I'm no tech person, so I mean, I'm just guessing on that. I may be completely wrong. I don't know. But, if I see something where things kind of fragment, I'd have to think that that's the way the software is written, that it's used to, say, a much larger area being, maybe that area being more, not as, I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so she's going off into the distance. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, we're good. We got time. Oh, yeah. Okay, so she's going. Okay, so now, yeah, good. When we start getting into this area, see, now we get into the flesh color is minimized. And we don't see her hands. So now we're just getting into color of the hair and the body. So we can just get a nice outline on where the hair is. And we should be able to just dump color in here, which will allow this to go a little faster. see. Yeah. There we go. Also a good idea to keep the hairs, keep the hairs separate hairs, areas where hairs can be separated. I think, well, I would say because it, well, it makes it look more like hair. You know, it's like if you don't, you know, if you have the occasional wispy bit of hair that's kind of coming off of the main body, and you've got a couple of wispy hairs that are connected to the head, but they're not, you know, they're kind of breaking away from the major group. You know, that's a nice touch. Let's see here. This black line is probably, yeah, that's fine. That black line just covers everything there. This is kind of funny. I don't know why I was feeling that I had to put a blue edge when I have the black surrounding line already. Oh well. Well, I guess I thought I needed that. Okay. There we go. All right. Nice. Another thing you might want to take into account. Excuse me for coughing in your ear. Sorry about that. As you paint and draw, I think you develop certain skills, or you can anyway, in the way you apply paint. You know, it's kind of the same thing as like if you're painting on a canvas, you know, you'll notice how when you paint, how your hand or how your interpretation of an area or space, how you handle an area or space based on the material and the media that you're using affects how you put the paint down. So, excuse me. So actually, it can be really kind of helpful for you to develop some skill set with that. And by that I mean you want to become real good at how you apply your colors and what kind of strokes you're using on the page. You know, how big your brushes are. You know, you have to adjust your brushes. But like, see, you know, like I'll have a thick brush here, but I'll still taper the line that I'm putting. You can see I'm, you know, I can, like for instance, here in the edge of this hair here, if I'm tapering that line, but the actual thickness of the brush is pretty thick, so it's how I'm stroking the surface to get that line to taper. And that's something that can be also helpful to you as an artist, is how you apply your medium. Now, of course, in the digital world, because everything is digital, or that I'm doing here, the control then becomes a control of a digital medium. However, the brushes are designed to work in some ways not that differently than a real brush would work. You know, you might, if you were painting this character and you were using a real brush with real paint, you might actually have the same kind of approach to how you're putting the paint down. You know, you might still brush that paint on. And you might have a thick brush, but you may start out and have the tip of the brush and taper your paint from the edge through to the center of their character. And so what you're doing by doing that is you're educating your stroke. You're educating your hand to make a controlled stroke so that you're able to taper the line even though you're using a really thick brush. And believe you me, that is a skill. And it's a great skill. In my opinion, it's a great skill. Let's see. So here we should be able to go with a bigger brush. And once again, we can just swath that because we're using the paint beneath. So you can see how quickly that fills that area. How are we? 21 minutes. Well, let's see. I think maybe we'll stop here. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm sorry for coughing in you guys' ear and stuff. That's not my intent, but there you go. Let's play and see what we've got. Well, let's see. Let's save first. Save and play. So we're coming to the end of this. And splash. She's having a good time. So what I'm going to do once I get, I'll probably finish the paint of the overall paint of the scene tomorrow, I'm thinking. And I may actually get started on the bubbles and the water effects on top, which, as I was mentioning before, I'm intending to animate that straight ahead, and I want you to see how I'm going to do that. And it's something that maybe all of you, when you're working on your films, you can find shortcuts, things that you can do because it's things you know you want to do, but kind of taking you out of the place of having to think you have to plan everything. Some things can be in your head. They could be additional things that you add later. All right, good people. Okay, well, hey, I will see you guys tomorrow. Of course, as you can see, you're not seeing me on the screen here. And I'm sure there's a button I need to click here that would probably bring me into the picture that I don't have clicked, but that's okay. It's not so important you see me. It's more important that you see what I'm doing. So, all right then. I will see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day, and don't forget to thank God for all your gifts and talents that He's bestowed you with. See you tomorrow.